Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is a self-defense art, but it's more than that. What we say goes beyond the mats. It teaches you not to be afraid of life. It teaches you confidence. My name is Royce Gracie, and this is my story. I am a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu instructor. My father developed Gracie Jiu-Jitsu back in Brazil. I'm a teacher. I'm a professional fighter and a father. I was born in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Everybody knew my family's name. I remember as a kid going to the beach or going to places with my father, and people come over and talk to him and ask to take pictures with him. To us, he was just dad. He was just our father. But he was the biggest sport figure back in Brazil. Before Pelé, before Ayrton Senna, that was Hélio Gracie. I come from a very big family. My father had 9 kids, 7 boys, 2 girls. Everybody's a fighter. Everybody always coming home, telling stories. I got in a fight on the street. I was watching as a kid, watching them fighting professionally in the ring, in the cages. Like, wow, I want to prove it to them that I can do it, that I'm one of them. And they always, of course, play the reverse psychology. There's a lot of that in my family. Nah, you're not good enough. What do you mean I'm not good enough? I can do this. I want to be like them. They are my inspiration. I want to be part of that group. The story of Jiu-Jitsu started a long time ago. There was a Japanese gentleman doing a business with my grandfather back in Brazil. In exchange of good faith, he taught my uncles the art of Jiu-Jitsu. Not my father. My father was too weak, too small, couldn't do it. So my father sat down and watched, memorized, studied. One day my uncle was late for a class. So my father jumped in and told the student, hey, I'll review the moves with you until my brother gets here. So when he taught the student a class, my uncle arrived. The student looked at him and said, from now on, I want to take class with Hélio Gracie. And that's when my uncles are like, hold on. You're weak, you're small, you've never done this. What did you show him? My father added leverage to the moves. You don't have to be big, you don't have to be strong, you don't have to be fast. And sometimes you have somebody bigger, stronger on top of you, and you can defend yourself and you survive. So we're not teaching people how to fight, we're teaching people how to defend themselves. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu teaches you confidence, not to be afraid of life. Fighting is just to prove that our style is the best self-defense style out there. We've been proving that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu for the last 80 years is the best style of self-defense. I came to America in '84, so I was 17 at the time. I didn't know how to speak anything, nothing, zero English. I learned by watching Sesame Street, believe it or not. I used to teach class on the beginning using the words stop like this. Start classes at 8 o'clock in the morning and goes until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Every half an hour, there's a new student comes to the house, taking classes, private classes in the garage. It got to a point that we had 150 students in a waiting list. That's when we opened up the first Gracie Academy. And then my brother had the vision of creating the first UFC. The first UFC, there was no time limit, no weight division, no gloves. Everything goes. The only thing that's not allowed was eye gouging and biting. It was an 8-man tournament. You fight. If you lose, you go home. The winner come back 15, 20, 30 minutes later. You gotta fight 3 fights in one night. Why did my father choose me to fight on the first UFC? Because of looks. He was gonna be on national TV. Imagine if he puts an ugly brother or cousin. First UFC, 1993, was my first time fighting. I never had a fight before in my life. Even my mother, she told my father, do not put Royce to fight. There's many other brothers and cousins, they all fought on the streets, they all fought professionally. You put the only one that never had a fight before. Never, not even on the street. My father trusts me. he knew I was going to obey his orders not to hurt the opponents. You subdue them with technique. So I fought guys 220, 240 pounds, and I'm 180. And I subdue them by not hurting them, but just making them quit. It changed the course of martial art. After the first UFC, we doubled the size of the school. After the second UFC, we doubled again, and that was the beginning of Jiu-Jitsu in America. I would say the highlight of my career would be the first UFC, fighting 3 fights in one night with no gloves, no time limit, no weight division. You know what? Forget that. Second UFC, 4 fights in one night with no time limit, no weight division, no gloves, everything goes. Now there's one better than that. Cancel that one too. UFC 3, I fought against a guy named Kimmel. Kim was 250 pounds, built like Zeus. I beat him, but now there's one better than that. I fought a guy on UFC 4, then the Beast, they call him. 265 pounds, all-American wrestler. The guy was pretty much like throwing people around like this until he ran into me. We fought for 16 minutes. I finally tapped him out. No, cancel that one too. There's another one better than that. There's a guy named Akibono, 6'8", 490 pounds. Before the fight, everybody was like, "Are you crazy? How are you gonna take him down? He's a sumo wrestler. He gets paid not to go to the ground. There's no way you can out-punch him." And I beat him under 3 minutes. So I would say all of them. It's hard to pick one. Brazil is awesome. It's the biggest party place in the world. But it's so much crime, so unstable, so much violence on the street. It's not a stable country. You don't have security. America gives you the opportunity to grow. America is the greatest place to live, and that's why I live here. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was born in Brazil, but I built my dream in America. When I first got here from Brazil, I love the patriotism, how people love the American flag, and when they stop to sing the anthem, every time before an event, everybody stands up, hand on the heart, and every time I hear the anthem, I get goosebumps. In America, you can achieve your goals with hard work. I tell people all the time, you have to have discipline. You can teach discipline, but the person have to want that. Start with the simple things. On this meal, I'm only gonna drink water. Get up in the morning, make your bed. We're creatures of habit. You create the habit and it becomes natural. You don't think about it anymore. Resist all the temptations. Opportunities, they're there. You just have to have discipline to want it, to go get it. You have to have discipline to build what you want. Thank you for watching my episode. To keep PragerU videos free, consider making a donation.